Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we are checking out the budget versions of the YAKUZA. Now, this is the premium version with M390, titanium, and then this copper carbon fiber Damascus. This is a bolster lock with a full titanium backspacer. I really like this one because it's so ergonomic. The whole deployment works extremely well. The front flipper also works well. I wouldn't call it like a 10 out of 10, but it does work great. And then you have these studs that have like a stair-step construction for the thumb or reverse flick. It's an attractive looking knife, but now instead of it being in this expensive premium version, we have 4 different versions for the budget one, which is running 14C 28M blade steel. And then we have carbon fiber, G10, obviously a couple different colors. So you got the regular, and this carbon fiber and G10 is like seamless. They must have glued it in one piece and then cut it out because it is very, very well fit. Access to the lock bar is good. They didn't cut it back like seriously, but you have the texturing there and it is cut back slightly, so it is easy to get to. So you can easily disengage it, very smooth on the drop, nice detent, phenomenal detent. You can get it with the side finger and the reach over. And then, you know, the whole deployment, the whole deployment, in my opinion, is the best part, or the thumb flick. Both of them work equally as good. 14C is a great mid-grade, mid-range steel that, you know, is a very affordable steel. So companies are able to keep the price way down, but it's still a very good quality steel. It has incredible toughness and good edge retention. It's only like a 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 10 in edge retention, but it's like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10 in toughness. And because of that, that allows very thin geometry. So this is great in anything that you need something super slicey, and or if you know you have something where you want it to be incredibly sharp, because it does great if you sharpen low angle edges. So it does phenomenal with them. All of these have really, really good edges. This is a tanto blade. You know, a lot of people, some people would call it, you know, more of a Japanese style tanto because it has a straight back and it has this rounded area instead of straight. An American tanto is 2 straight edges. I think this is more of a hybrid tanto. It has a dual grind here, so we have a deep hollow here, flat grind here. The flat grind is still nice and slicey though, like, but it does have somewhat of a robust spine, which I do like. Sometimes I think it can offer a great balance of toughness and sliciness when you have a thicker spine with a deep hollow grind. And then, you know, this isn't so thick right here that it's ridiculous. So it's gonna be really good for cutting down on a flat surface. You can use this tip as the tip. This one you're not gonna use as a primary tip. You can, like if you're going around boxes or whatever, but if you're gonna cut down on a flat surface, you're not gonna wanna use this tip, you're gonna wanna use this tip. This straight edge right here is gonna be great for slicing, especially when you consider this handle geometry. It is so comfortable in the hand. I have a ton of leverage. Like I feel like I could jam this into something and I would never ever worry about sliding up. And if I'm cutting like this and I'm slicing, you know, there's just, you're so locked in that, you know, that always makes for better cutting performance when your ergonomics complement your blade, basically. These are 2 satin versions, as you can see, both black and blue. And then we have the blacked out stonewash version. Now what's cool is they didn't just black this blade out, they stonewashed it too, which is going to, you know, help keep corrosion away, even though this is a very corrosion resistant steel, but a little bit more. But then also from scratches with the stonewash, you're not gonna have to worry about the coated blade getting scratches. It does have a titanium milled pocket clip with a titanium backspacer on both of these knives, whether it's the satin or the black. And then it has steel liners. So the steel liner is on both sides. They do have steel liners on both sides, which, you know, is just going to help with a little bit more integrity. And the liner, while it is a little thinner on the thinner side. It's not actually as thin as it might look. If you look at it from the back, you can actually see how thick it actually is. Because of this having the chamfer right there, it's an illusion, making it look thinner than it is. It's actually relatively thick. So good lockup, rock solid lockup. I have already checked all these. All of these are very solid. I don't want to hurt this fabric, but you get the point. It's good. Again, these studs, they're not going to be for everybody. Not everybody loves the thumb disc style, but this is different. This is a little bit of a hybrid because while it is somewhat of like a disc, it also is a little bit like a regular thumb stud. When I put my thumb up to it, you'll notice I'm hitting this angled part right there, allowing me to have a great amount of leverage. And same thing when I'm going right here. It hits this little chamfer, this corner that has nice texturing on it. So if you don't like discs, this is not the same as a disc. While it looks similar and kind of functions the same, it has a much more comfortable break with the detent and everything. Now, one thing with front flippers, when they have a hook like that, when they have space underneath, you do want to be careful not to have them come around. They can pinch you, but you just keep your finger out of the way from that and you'll be fine. And typically, you're never going to run into that, but I'm just mentioning it because I've done it. So as far as like negatives and nitpicks and stuff, oh, by the way, here, let's just take a quick look at the version. So I think this one also comes in a satin, but otherwise this has a blasted finish. I do prefer this coat, this finish though. So you can take a look at, you know, the differences. And if you look, you can see the stud, they cut the space out. I really think that's really cool on both of them. But the bolster lock is going to be, you know, obviously more expensive because the handle is all titanium, including the clip and back spacer, and the blade steel's M390, by the way. This is obviously a more budget-friendly blade and handle material, but it still gives you some titanium hardware. Now, the negatives. Let's talk about the negatives really quick because this one I've done videos on. I love this thing. I love the way it looks to me. This is a very, very attractive knife. So as far as the negatives, one of the same negatives I had on this one is the plunge grind. They did the same kind of plunge grind, which is a tapering plunge grind. When I say a tapering plunge grind, this is the perfect definition of a tapering plunge grind. So it starts right here, and then it just slowly tapers down towards the edge. You can't technically see exactly where it cuts off at, and that's the tapering part. So it's like it just kind of ghosts itself into the grind. I don't like that. I prefer a hard line. Give me a direct, hard line where I can clearly see where the plunge grind ends. I'd love it to end way back here, but it does not. So I would prefer a better plunge grind and a better choil. So move the plunge grind back and put a hard line there where I can see that. The next thing is access to the lock bar. It's good. It's really good. I'm not, when I say this, I'm not saying it's a negative. I'm saying if it was my design, I would pull this back ever so slightly more at the very least, but it's still good. Like, this is not a uncomfortable disengagement. I would never call this out as a negative, but you know, it's just something I would, you know, do. Now this next thing is a negative. T6s. I prefer T8s. You know, yes, this is a more budget friendly model, but they did the same thing on the premium one. I don't think any knife should be expensive and also have T6s. Not saying it's not gonna happen here and there, of course. It's not a deal breaker, right? But it feels good knowing you're not gonna have to worry about stripping out your screws. And at the very least, send me some extra hardware then, you know, if you're gonna put the T6s. Anyways, you know, like I said, not a deal breaker, but it is something that I like. Next thing, the clip, let me just feel the clip again, because I think the clip's fine, but yeah, it's okay. It could be a little bit better though. It just, you know, it's short, and is this one just as short? Yeah, this one has more spring to it. So maybe it's just because these ones are new, that they're a little bit tighter, but wedge something underneath there and you'll make the tension a little bit less. It's fine. It's not like a horrible clip. So me talking anything about it, I'm just nitpicking. I prefer a clip to be a little bit smoother, and this has all the ability to be a little bit smoother. It just needs a little bit less tension. But man, this action for the reverse and thumb flick is amazing. That was me left-handed. So, Other negatives, the front flipper. The front flipper's jimping, it's good, and you know, the front flipper does work well. The thing is that like if I do the side finger, this is a very wide gap from here to here. I had to put one finger here, right? And it's a very wide gap. When I do the reach over, same thing, it's a wide gap. So that's, you know, just something you're gonna get with a thicker knife, especially when the front flipper is straight up, which they probably had to do. But it looks like there's plenty of clearance. So I don't know, man. I don't know, because if you look, see right here how there's clearance on you have the stop pin right there. Look at how much clearance there is going over. So they technically didn't need it to have that big gap. That means the front flipper could have been even, you know, moved over just a little bit closer to the palm of your hand. Anyways, like I said, it's not a deal breaker or anything, but you know, the front flipper just feels, smidgen awkward, a smidgen, but it's still good. It still works great. The jimping, I prefer the sharper, closer together jimping. This jimping is, you know, fine. There's nothing really wrong with it. It's just, you know, just preference there. A lot of preferences more than negatives on this one because it is such a good knife. And man, the pinch grips with this, wow, because of this handle shape, the way how you can curl it right there, if you're gonna open up around boxes and stuff, this thing, the shape is really good. This handle would go amazing with a lot of blade shapes as long as they fit inside the handle. And you know, they did do a really good job with the tolerances, the fit, the finish, the everything really. You know, everything I'm bitching about is like little tiny nitpicks. You know, the pivot on this has a cooler look, as you can see. I would have loved to have seen that on this. You know, just something, is that a mushroom? What is that? I don't know what that is. But anyways, I think it would have been cooler to have, you know, more of a decorative pivot. It would just made it look a little bit more premium, maybe a titanium pivot collar or something. But again, you know, that's not that big of a deal. And the price is good on this. So I'm not going to mention the price. You can hit the link down in the description and it'll take you right to them. So if you click the link, just go through the site, you can see that these, you know, the prices and all the information, the length, size, weight, all that stuff. The price is always subject to change. That's why I don't want to say it in this video because I don't know when you're watching this. So just use the link. I always link everything down in the description for you guys. So there you guys go. I don't have a ton of negatives. I mean, it is a good knife. You know, it's 2025. You know, the companies that I deal with tend to be the better ones that are on the market, right? If I was dealing with mostly gas station knives and super cheap Walmart knives, yeah, my negatives would just be like, they'd be crazy. Maybe we should do a little thing like that. Maybe I should pull in some. And if you guys have made it to here, let me know if you'd like to see that. I'll put some on here and just shred them. And if they're good, they're good. You know, I won't. But I'm just saying that when you start talking about companies like this, and most of the companies that I deal with and most of the companies I accept and say, yes, I'd love to have that on the channel, typically are going to be more of the nicer companies that aren't going to, you know, cut as many corners and, you know, try to get over on you and stuff. They're trying to make high quality knives. So generally there's not going to be a ton of negatives. Now, back in the day, yeah, there was a lot more because companies were kind of finding their way. And also, you know, you had bad companies that, you know, were not good yet and or turned good or we got rid of them. Work hard, stay tough. Until next time, peace.